Love luxury watches but can't afford them? Feeling slighted that all the cool timepieces you seem to be interested in are out of your budget? Frustrated when people with more money and less taste than you get to enjoy the finer watches in life? You aren't alone. One of the most difficult parts of being a watch guy, or woman, for many people is reconciling with the fact that a lot of the products you want to buy are more expensive than you can afford. This is tough to deal with, and we can't pretend that we can teach you secret ways to own your favorite high-end watches without having to pay for them. 1. Change straps to liven up existing watches. Experienced watch lovers will tell you that a sure way to spruce up a boring watch or one that you've had for a while is to change the strap. Sometimes this can even mean swapping out a strap for a bracelet, or vice versa. Of course, you need to start with a watch whose straps can be easily changed, no proprietary strap connections, etc., and you'll need to measure the width of the strap, often 18 mm, 24 mm, in order to know what strap or bracelet to buy. Furthermore, you'll need a bit of good taste and an eye for matching colors to make sure you select the right straps. 2. Troll the forums and eBay for deals. Allow me to say right off the bat that when it comes to getting a good watch deal, too good to be true probably is. You can find cheap watches, but you can't find that many watches which are too cheap. If they are, well, then you probably don't want them. I say all this first because there are a lot of really inexpensive watches from brands that you've never heard of produced to look okay in pictures, but that are really disappointing when you get them hands-on. So when searching places to buy watches from other owners on watch-related forums or on eBay, you have to know what you are looking for. 3. Take risks on Kickstarter and crowd-funded watch campaigns. A Blog2Watch currently gets about 1 to 5 emails a week from people excited about their new watch campaigns on crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We can't cover them all, and in fact, we don't cover most of them. Not fair, you say? There are some awesome watches on Kickstarter, you say. Maybe, but we prefer to write about mostly watches that we know for sure will be made or are currently available. A lot of the stuff on Kickstarter is there because it hasn't been made yet, and sometimes it never gets made, because either the campaign doesn't get fully funded or because technically the projects prove too challenging. 4. Why not pre-owned watches? But perhaps not vintage timepieces. It goes without saying that if you don't want to pay full price for a new watch, you can try to locate a used one. The pre-owned watch world works similarly to that of the used car world. Items lose value and depreciate after their initial purchase, but given their inherent values live on to be sold and sold again after the original owner has let go of them. Pre-owned watches can be purchased from individual sellers or, more commonly, from dealers who compete to offer consumers the best watches as the best prices. 5. Save up, sell, and trade watches. People with deep pockets have the luxury of buying many of the new watches they want without having to think too much about it. That is just a fact and something the luxury watch industry is well aware of. Because these types of people are more concerned with cool, exclusive, new, etc., versus mere price, many high-end watchmakers seek to appeal to them in areas outside of offering a good price for a good watch. What has made this worse is that watches that were once much more affordable 5 to 15 years ago are now sometimes 2 to 4 times their historic prices. 6. Japanophilia. Japanese watches are easy to love and mostly inexpensive. When people ask me about getting new mechanical watches for under $500, the first thing out of my mouth is always get something from a Japanese watchmaker like Seiko, Orient, or Citizen. I say this because for the most part, these companies produce the best quality cheap mechanical watches. I suppose that also goes for quartz watches, if you are into that. When I talk of quality, I don't just mean the movements, but also the cases, dials, straps, etc. Japanese watches are often the first real watches most watch lovers end up getting, and many people, even though seriously into luxury Swiss watches, find themselves buying Japanese watches for years. 7. Look for harder to find, small indie watchmakers. Some of the best new watch deals out there are from smaller, often new independently owned watch brands. We at Blog2Watch try to cover these companies as often as we can, and most of them have new watches that range from a few $100 to a few thousand. The kicker is that because they are made by watch lovers for watch lovers, you are going to get pretty good deals by people who attempted to produce watches that they want to personally own. That is a win-win situation in many instances.